Hello, everyone. This is Jennifer Williams with Coldwell Banker Gold Coast and podcast host of LUXE Life. Today, I have the pleasure of having Lakefront Living International LLC's Chris Mosier. She is going to come on and tell us a little bit about what is Lakefront Living. This podcast also is sponsored by Hydronique, which is a unique hydration powder. You can get it add one stick to your water. What it does, the hydration, how it makes me feel. If it makes me feel this good, it'll make you feel that good too. Immune support, morning recovery, night shift. If you have a night shift, you're working hard and you just need that little pick me up, but you don't want to grab a Red Bull and you don't want to grab any kind of a boost or any kind of sugary drink because you're trying to stay healthy. This is the perfect answer to your needs. So Hydronique Unique Hydration is the name. You can find them on Amazon. We're also going to have a link in our bio and in our description. So be sure to check them out. Now, the whole podcast isn't about unique hydration. This podcast is about Lakefront Living LLC and what International LLC and what they have done and what they have created and the platform that they have brought was unfulfilled before. So here they took something that's unique. People, when we're looking for a second home, first home, we want to live on the lake. Sometimes we're just diving in and looking at all the properties and whatever your popular platform is, you're scrolling through and you just want something on the water. Well, we're offering that to you today. So Chris, please let us know. Tell us all about it.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. Hello. It's great to be on here, especially for my first podcast. This is exciting. And before I even start on all that, I have to say it's funny that the words you use with the hydration, the morning recovery, it's the best, especially in lake life, because you need that morning after, especially when you're just chilling on the lake and having wine the night before. Just saying, it's the best.
That would be definitely something I would be doing.
So. Yeah, but thanks for that wonderful introduction. And it's funny. I bought my husband and we bought our first lake house back in 2005, and it was such a frustrating experience. Well, back up. Sorry, I'll be all over the board. That's my personality type. But we'll get back to everything.
That's okay. If anybody has listened to my podcast before, they know we go from A to D, and sometimes we fill in C, we jump back to A. It's because it's who we are. And we're showing our genuine us. Yeah, we have a lot going on. So go right ahead, jump all over.
Well, I've been in real estate for almost 20 years. And I was doing residential. I was with Remax for forever. And I enjoyed being with the big box company. So it was really scary for me when I jumped out to do this partnership. I'm the co-founder of Lakefront Living International with my partner, Scott Frickson, who lives in Boston. I'm in Ohio. But this actually really started for me back in 2005 when my husband and I live in Columbus, Ohio, and just felt when you get near water, whether it be going on a beach vacation to the Caribbean, even just a lake in Central Ohio, just that sense of I don't know how you describe it. It's like stress dissipates and you just look forward to getting to the water, being on the boat, being with friends. And my husband and I, we bought a little cottage lake house up at Apple Valley Lake, about an hour from Columbus. And it was fun. It was after a couple months of living on the lake and having friends up. And now I'm taking friends out on the boat in a t-shirt and flip-flops, drinking wine and beer and showing homes and selling lake homes. And I'm like, okay, this is winning. And I had so much fun with it that I'm like, this is all I want to do. But the lake I was at was so tiny that there wasn't enough sales to sustain the kind of income I wanted to have. And I just have always had this entrepreneur vision. And I decided, you know what, I'm in Central Ohio. I'm an hour from Apple Valley. I'm an hour from all these other lakes around me. Why don't I just call myself Central Ohio's lakefront specialist and just sell strictly lakefront homes? Because back to what I was saying earlier, when we went to go find our lake home, I was so frustrated. I just wanted to see lake homes, lakefront homes. That's all I wanted to see. There at that time, there really wasn't a search for lakefront or lake view or anything. It was just trying to find where are lakes in Ohio. And do I even want to be at that lake? I couldn't even find information on the lake. And then because I was a realtor, when I went to those lakes to look at homes, it was very hard. They wanted to show people who didn't have realtors, which I probably shouldn't say, that's kind of negative, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to work with all realtors. I'm not going to shut realtors out, trying just to work with the realtors in that buyers just in that particular lake. So anyway, so ended up finding a for sale by owner at Apple Valley. That's where most of our friends were at. We bought that, and my vision just, I had this burning desire in me. I'm like, it was so frustrating trying to find a lake house, and now I'm representing all these buyers for Central Ohio, and it took off. I mean, took off. I couldn't even handle the volume, and I realized there's a need for this. And then when I wanted to go further with that to take it nationwide, I couldn't find that there was a niche company out there offering this. And I started looking around. I found Scott, who lives in Boston, had Lakefront Living Realty. He just created his own real estate company. So we decided to get together and meet and see if we could do this franchise thing. It took off, and now we are, that was 6 years ago, maybe going on 7 now, I think. And we're now in 9 states and over 2,809 lakes we represent right now, and growing. And it's a fun niche to be in when you're living it passionately yourself.
When you believe in it, anything that we truly believe in, it's not selling then. We don't come across as sales-ish, because you can speak from the heart and your genuine belief and experience. And you can tell when you are speaking about the properties and about the process. You didn't come into this and say, oh, I want to dive in it. You saw a need, you filled a void, and that's leads to success. When we do that, that's how it carries through. And I see that you would probably be going much farther than the states that you are in, because if I want a lakefront property, I want a lakefront property. I don't want a property that's one street in, or a property that is, well, I have to cross through the neighbor's yard. Who wants to do that to get to the lake?
Exactly.
I mean, you want to be able to walk out of your home, whether it's your first home, second, third, whatever it is, go to your dock, jump on your boat, and take off. That's the whole idea of it. You want it to be a pleasurable, memorable experience for yourself and your guests, rather than getting you have to hook up to the boat and then take it and launch it. And then you go, and that's a little hectic at that point. So if you're going to do it and you're going to bite the bullet and you're going to go all in, your search and your company is the best way to look at that. Why? Not to knock any of the other fellow realtors, neither you nor I are doing that, because you have created a niche though. If you come to my area, I have niches. You've created yours.
Yeah. And you know what's so neat with our website then, and I think that's how we really truly stand out and differ, is when you come to our website, we have gone out and research. We know every lake that's on there like the back of our hand. All of our agents, all of our franchisees, they live the lakefront lifestyle. We're living at these lakes. We're taking our clients out on boats to see the lake, not just handing them a URL address about go look up this lake here. And on our website too, which is so nice, is so I have so many people call me in Ohio that are like, I want to be within 2 hours of my home. We deal with buyers who it's usually their second home, usually, wealthier, affluent, or retiring people. And they know they want to be within 2 hours, but they just don't know the lakes. Like, what's a clean lake? What's not a good lake? Not that they're bad lakes, but you can do a radius search on our website. Just put in your zip code and say, I want to be within, 60 miles. and it'll show you on a map all the lakes that are within there. And then you just click on each of those lakes and it tells you what the depth is, what kind of fish are there. Can you jet ski or not jet ski? Some you can swim, some you can't, and then we have specialists for each lake. And for Ohio, I'm statewide. I have agents from northern Ohio to southern, all over the place. It's funny. Our franchisees in Missouri and Tennessee, they have enormous lakes. Like my lake is not even the size of one of their coves. Annie's at Lake of the Ozarks, and
been there.
Oh my gosh, is that a fun lake?
Oh, it's
that cigarette thing. It's called Speed, or what the heck is it? I don't know. It's like the Audubon for boats.
Yeah, you have different poker runs and that with the boats, and it depends on what there's fun runs and poker runs, and there's so many things that you've got a shootout, you got the lake shootout.
That's what it is. Yes, yeah. The shoot. I should have known that, but I'm in Ohio.
No, the shootout's a really big deal there, as well as, there's boats that come in from all over the world. There would be the Miss Budweiser that would be there, for anybody who follows, the Miss Budweiser. So it has global attention on the Lake of the Ozarks. And you've got different coves. Some are some are good, some are not, they're all good, but there is, shallower depths there, so you can pontoon as well and get back in there. And that's the Ozarks. But if you're looking for a more laid back lifestyle, there's other options to choose as well.
Right. And it's so funny too. It's been amazing with actually on the onstart of COVID, all of us actually, the Midwest, we are inundated with buyers, everyone and their mother. It seems like it's the inventory is so hard to come by. And then when you do have it, it's multiple. I haven't been in one situation where we're not in multiple offers, all of our agents. And
that's good.
What's so nice about it is it's awesome. What's so nice about our website is you have, like, if you do list with us on our website, you're not just getting people wanting to be within, 2 hours of you. You're also getting that national pool of people going to our website and saying, well, let's look at Ohio, let's look at Tennessee. So it's fun, it's growing, and we're excited about it.
So then we also have a global audience. So besides having, our local audience, our the beautiful country that we live in, we also have a global audience. And you and I have both talked about your website, and you have a newsletter as well that does go out. People can sign up. And your website address is
lakefrontliving.com, and you can go on there and sign up, and that's LAKEFRONTLIVING.com. So it's fun. It's fun just to even go look around houses. And that's the other nice thing too. Like in Ohio, I'm in all the MLSs that have the big major lakes. So you're going to find all the lake homes, not just in one MLS area. And that's the same with all of our franchisees, so every state that we're in. So, and it's one to look at is we have Alabama. We just signed them on, and Scott and I went down there to meet with them before we signed them on. Oh my gosh, I told Scott, I'm like, we need to buy down here. For lake homes to be under $400,000. I was like, what is going on here? Why is nobody buying here yet? So I imagine that won't last for long, because once they come on. But
once we shoot this out there, then you're going to end up having people, hey, what is that again? Under 400,000, and I can actually have a true lakefront home. It makes sense. You've seen an opportunity, and what better way? Because we know as salespeople, and some people who aren't in sales, and some salespeople don't even get this, is it's not just about sending the URL. It's not just about saying, here, let's take you and show you here, or we're going to put you in the car and drive. Why don't you go drive by? Go take a drive by. You're putting them actually on a boat. So you're enhancing that experience. So for someone who's never been on a boat, never had, seen the sunrise, seen the sunset, smelled just the intoxicating, and you are right, just releases when you're cruising along and the mist on your face, just so refreshing, the sun, the fun, you lose track of time. You completely forget what day it is, because you're enjoying yourself so much. And so when you're taking your clients out there and you're delivering the complete package and experience, who wouldn't buy from you? And who wouldn't pick up the phone and call you and say that and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, because now you're going to take 10 properties that maybe someone who doesn't have the same knowledge,
Right.
and send them 10 properties when you know from experience and your agents are trained and live the life that only 2 are going to work for these
Right.
clients, the lifestyle they want to lead.
Exactly. And it's funny with you touching on that, it seals the deal. I'm telling you what, we'll go and we'll look. The game plan is always to go look at the homes first, and then take them out on the boat to see those homes from the lake. And by this time, we're all friends and we're having a beer or a wine, and it becomes an all day thing. And you're cooking out. The next thing you know, you're cooking out together, but which is great. But when you're out there and you're playing your favorite tunes and watching the sunset, and I'm interrupting myself again right now because you made me think of something. My husband and I were having the funniest talk the other day. I'm very blessed to, we ended up building a home on Hoover Reservoir, which is a lake in Columbus. And so we get the sunset at Hoover, and at Apple Valley, we get sunrise. And, we're getting up there in age, we're talking retirement. I'm like, are we going to keep both these? It's silly to keep both of them. Which one do we want to actually retire with? And we tried to determine it on which one do we want, sunrise or sunset? I'm like, at first I'm like, well, I need to probably do sunrise, because every sunset, I just have to have a glass of wine. It just goes hand in hand. I don't know what it is. I want wine at sunset. And then it just leads to more wine. And then you have all your friends come over and it's like, okay, but then the hydration pills.
And we have the Hydronique, and we're going to send you the we're going to make sure we send out some Hydronique to you so you can keep both houses. Because to me, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
But I'm not giving up my wine and my sunset.
But then Bruce is like, well, we'll do Bloody Marys at sunrise. So, what is it going to be? Then you're drinking all day long. I'm like, oh, I don't mean to make it sound like
life.
But, it's just fun.
But it's not even about alcohol, and it's in, we're joking around kind of, but it's about living your best life. And when, we found out about your company, and it made sense to have you on Lux Life, because that's the epitome of what the podcast, what the brand, what we're setting out to do is bring you not only luxury and real estate. Obviously everything's 98% of my podcasts are real estate related. That's my passion. But also how to enjoy your time that you have here and make an impact. And that's what I think too, we forget. And when we have real estate transactions, other agents do as well, they forget that personal connection. They lose that personal connection. One thing that you had said was, we become friends by, you take the day, we become friends. Because you're making that bond and that connection that those people aren't going to forget. You've made that impact, and they're going to tell their friends, and it grows from there, because you have a genuine passion.
And and that's what it is. And that's, I think, everyone that even works for even on my team, and then I know on everyone else's teams, they have that. And I think with the clients that are probably following you, I have found so many people, they've had their second home down in Florida or the Caribbean or internationally, and they just can't get to it. And especially when COVID hit, and then they have the kids that they can't take out of school anymore because of sports. So they're just finding themselves wanting to have that, a vacation home closer to home. And truly, our kids were 7, 8, and 9, I believe, when we bought that, and all of them to this day, it is the summer place to go. All of their friends come to it. That is one thing I have to say. If anybody's ever thinking about, should I really invest in a lake home, with these kids, will we really go there? Not only will they go there, all their friends will go there. And there's nothing better when they become teenagers to be friends with all their friends.
Yes.
And then their friends' parents come also. But keeping it in the family, and it's now, when we, built this new house that we're in, the home is the Apple Valley Lake House. That's the go-to. It's like what you see in the movies when they go to the lake house, the family lake house. It is true. It creates that. So a lot more.
Yeah, the experience, because the experience and the memories, a lot of times, like when I'm selling a home, that's not, a lakefront home. No matter what we're doing, we're building memories. We're selling the thing that our clients, their houses, they're going to have their holidays, friends and family are going to come over. They're going to make their memories, whether they take photos and put it in a photo album or not, that home becomes a part of the family. And when you couple that knowledge and understanding as a realtor and a real estate agent in with passion, in with what you believe in a lifestyle you live, it's a winning combination. Like I said, I could see definitely you filled the niche. You've definitely filled the need.
I'll tell you what, that was a jump off the bridge of faith, because it was like, I owned a franchise with a girlfriend of mine, just a small one, and dabbled in that. But to do real estate, all I knew was RE/MAX. So I thought, how can we do this? And it's so big. There's so much competition. But when we saw that it just didn't exist out there, we actually decided to do what the big companies don't do, and really just find people who are, what you just said, are so passionate about the lake life, that's what they want to do. And if you have that combined with our systems and what we're offering, it'll go on its own. And it's fun. It's actually fun to see the people who've joined our team in Alabama, Tennessee, Missouri. We have Arkansas, and it's booming.
So what states what are all the states? Like, where do you cover?
So we have 9 states right now. We have New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Missouri, Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, Ohio, and I'm forgetting a New England one, Connecticut. So we're in 9 states now. North Carolina, we have all their listings coming on, but we haven't sold the actual franchise there. What we're doing now too is moving into states and setting up each state. To backtrack, we're setting up each state so that someone, when they're ready to come on and partner with us, we don't call them franchisees, we call them partners. When they're ready to partner with us, we'll have it already all built. We found that joining each MLS in each state and start loading up where each lake is at for the entire state, that takes some time. So we're trying to get that pre-built. And when we initially started out, I know we've been doing this 6 years, but the first 3 years, we really took our time with just 2 franchisees to see if what we're doing is really going to help these people. Are we onto something here? And let's just put everything to both of them and see if, this is where we're going. We'll revisit in 5 years and see if this works. And it's actually exciting. They've become like family to us too. And now we're adding on now we're ready to branch out, and it's fun. It's just funny how opportunities like this with you, which I'm very grateful for.
I'm happy to have you on.
It all starts rolling,
It does. And once it starts to roll, it goes and it picks up speed, and it goes so fast, and you're kind of in a whirlwind going, hold on a second. Let me catch my breath. I need to sip a glass of wine or to have my coffee in the morning. So when we talked about, because we do also have, our podcast, our audience is global. We have people all over the world. We have investors as well. Other people are looking for business opportunities. So we've also talked about the partnering and, franchisees. how do they get a hold of you to find out? If somebody's listening to our podcast and says, you know what, I'm here, I'm in this state, I'm in this location, how do they get a hold of you? What's
Yes.
the best way for a partner?
You could go to our website, which is lakefrontlivingfranchise.com, or email us at info@lakefrontliving.com, or call us at my cell phone. I'll just give out my cell phone. It's my business anyway. It's 614-309-0494. But yeah, I'm the first contact usually with anybody interested anyway. So
but you have not that Scott doesn't have the passion, and maybe we'll be able to have him on in a later episode, because I definitely want to keep back touch and base, with you and see as this grows and the properties that you represent and you have. I've looked on your website, and I've seen some fantastic properties and beautiful properties that maybe I wasn't thinking at some point that, now to purchase. And I'm like, well, wait a second, look at this one. This looks nice. So it definitely sets that, sets everything in motion and keeps it going. So you're in 9 states, and we gave out the franchisee. So if somebody wants to jump on board or find out more information, you also have the newsletter that someone can sign up for. It's right on your website. Super easy. Type in your name, type in your email address, hit sign up, and boom, you're off and running. So now you have a wealth of information coming in. And, I like the fact that, because not all lakes can you have a motor. Sometimes it's, you can only have electric. Some places you fish, some places you can swim, some places you can't swim. That's going to be a big deal if you have a family and you water ski, because I know there are some water ski lakes that are just dedicated to water skiing.
Exactly. Like my Hoover, you can't swim on it. It's the drinking water for the city of Columbus. So you can't swim on it. You have to have a 9 horsepower boat. So it's almost like on Golden Pond. And then you get up to Apple Valley, and it's jet skis and boats and everything else. And it's just two totally different places. And but knowing that, and that's one thing our website will give you the information on. And and then there's a lot of, here's the other thing too, having it all in one-stop shop. A lot of the lakes are gated communities, and you're not allowed to get in there and drive around. You can't go up and say, can we just look around and get a guest pass? And you're not allowed to. So that's the other nice thing, is getting the information, and then us having agents that can actually get you in, the gated community areas and stuff like that.
That's nice, because it is. Yeah. I think too, people don't realize when you are on a lake, the lake is sometimes public, access. Sometimes it's private access. Sometimes it's only residents only are allowed on that lake. And we touched on the Ozarks before. So how many times have people, they're tooling around, and we're always looking and oogling at the houses that are so beautiful that are there. But if that's not what you want, you can determine that right away.
Right.
In the gated communities, it is hard to get into them unless they just don't let anybody in. Especially,
which is kind of nice too. If you have a lake house and it's usually your second home, that's nice to know that you have that security there. And it's been funny, in Ohio. Let's face it, we're the flatlands, and we have a lot of people from Michigan coming down. They're like, well, I want the Michigan kind of lakes. I'm like, no, those aren't. You're in Ohio. This is not exist. But then you go down to Tennessee and North Carolina, and I think Lake Lure has to be one of the prettiest lakes. It's by Chimney Rock. I don't know if you've ever been there. That's where they filmed Dirty Dancing, and I want to say Last of the Mohicans at this lake. And that's actually where Scott and my husband and I met Scott for the first time. He has property down there. And then we said, okay, let's meet at this lake and see if we
jive.
See if we jive. Sit around a campfire together, and that's where it started. And and back and talking about Scott, he actually started his Lakefront Living Realty years before I think 9 years before we ended up connecting. And it took off for him. He's in Massachusetts. It took off so much for him in Massachusetts that he ended up moving into Rhode Island and New Hampshire and Connecticut because it just kept going and the demand for it. So when we partnered, I had gone over all of Ohio and he had done the New England area. So we're like, okay, it's a need. So, but it's just such a fun, passionate place to be working at, doing something you love. I love being on the lake. I love being on the water. I love helping people do that. Our franchisees, they all live it also. And so that's probably the only requirement to get into the franchises. You have to have a passion for it and live it.
You gotta walk the walk and talk the talk.
Yeah.
You have to, because if you don't, then you're kind of undermining your message. If you have someone, or if somehow you fall out of the passion, and we see this, or you come into it thinking, oh, I'm going to do this because it's going to be this luxury thing, and it's people with second homes and third homes and gated communities, and I can sell. Yes, you can sell. However, people don't want to be sold, they want to buy. And they buy when they hear your passion and your knowledge that you can share with them, and that connectivity.
Yep.
And you can't fake genuine.
No, isn't that
you can't do it.
It was funny. I was looking at, because this is my first podcast. And I'm like, oh, what do I talk about? So I looked up, what do luxury lakefront buyers look for? And one of the things is exactly that. Genuine. They want people who are genuine, and genuine is actually knowing your lake. I mean, the ins and outs of what part of the lake, gets the most weeds in it, even, some lakes are shallow, so it's a constant mud stir because the boat motors are stirring up the weeds or whatever. So it's so nice. That's not something that you're going to read in an MLS remarks section that only allows 800 character spaces. So, it's nice.
You're right. And it's something that an agent that doesn't live on that lake isn't going to know. It's just like when you purchase a property that's on the golf course. What hole do you want to be at on the golf course? And where is the tee and where's the green? Because I know this from experience, unless you know what position your property and your lot is, your house is going to get hit every single time somebody tees off, just like one that we used to own did.
And we talk about that. Biggest mistake ever was living on the green. Wait, is that the right where you put the ball in the hole? Yeah, not the tee box, the green.
Yes.
Par 3. Every day. Boom, 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 boom. Golf balls all day long. Then trying to sell this place with people having kids, knowing that they're teeing off of the green. I'm like, and then, I thought, well, we could deal with golfers on a golf cart around at 6 a.m. tee times. Oh, but no, the greens come out and start mowing at 4 a.m.
And then the sprinklers go off. And then what we would have was, we had a waterway. And so it was just a lower lying weeds. We had a neighbor to the one side, a neighbor to the other side. And all three of us had, just a little waterway behind us. We would have golfers that would come through and drive through all three of our properties and then hit their ball out of our yard. I'm like, it's a golf ball. Take the stroke, get out of my yard. It's about, and not to bash golf course properties at all.
I know. I'm feeling a little bit guilty right now.
Well, I mean, it's the reality of it. And that's what the podcast is about, is also to bring, because some people would be like, oh, I'm going to go buy a golf course property, because I'm not going to have anybody behind me. But you don't know until you know. Right. It's having that experience. So to your point of, it gets a little muddy over here, the weeds are a little over here. Oh, there's a nest of ducks that like to come over here. Oh, there's, the depth over here is this. You want to fish, come over here. This is the best little spot back in this little cove, and only the locals know this. If you
Exactly.
haven't experienced it, if you don't live it, you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. exactly. And,
We're gonna have
and
hate
you
mail from golfers now.
I know, I feel so sorry out there, any golfers and golf
It's not
niche
a knock,
realtors.
it's not a knock to the golfers or the golf course properties. It's more about having the knowledge.
Yeah.
That kind of community and that kind of lifestyle is fantastic. You can get up, you can get on your golf cart, you go, you can tee off in the morning, or whatever time you want to. But it goes back to the knowledge, because if you don't want your house being hit every time somebody tees off, you want to know exactly where the position is, just like with your lake house.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Well, it was funny too. I mean, I think that ingrained our family to get up at the crack of dawn, which was great because when we went to our lake house, we got to see the sunset and not sleep in. So it was like, it was a win-win. So see how it all works together, just like meeting
Well,
you. It all works together.
it's part of the experience that creates our knowledge, creates who we are, creates a personality. And that's also what flows through. Again, it's about that connectivity. When we have the experience and the knowledge of the shootout in the lakes, the Ozarks, when we know about the different lakes, when we know about golf course living, when we know about we're drinking wine at sunset and we're having coffee in the morning, it helps with that connectivity and the genuine. It makes it where it's so much easier. So, I mean, everybody wants a genuine person. Who wants an actor? We want realtors. We don't want an actor. Go get an actor.
Yep.
No.
I think too, also, I think the biggest thing I hear from people is, I wish I had done this sooner. I think so many second guess being able to afford it, or should we really do that? Will we really use it? And heck, I swear, the other thing that's taken over is VRBO and Airbnb on these lakes now too. I mean, if you aren't going to use it, you'll get a nice income stream from these places too. Well, you got to check and make sure your lake will allow rentals.
To make sure they'll allow it. Yeah, but that's a good point. That's something that we didn't cover, because you are right. Sometimes people are, oh, I don't want an investment that I'm never going to use, right? What's the two happiest days in a boat owner's life? The day they buy it, the day they sell it. Yeah. And at times people, it's just the reality. At times, I think people look at, lake home is not a necessity, is the way that the thought process. I think until you have it, and then you realize it really it's a necessity. You want to have it, you want to keep it, and you want to build and create these memories and create this. It's just a change of a mindset. Yeah. And it's an investment, not only in real estate, it's an investment in your future, investment in your family. And if you can do, if it is allowed, Airbnb, now you have an income stream on something you enjoy.
Exactly.
How many times can you say that for a second property? And a highly, you can likely you could command a higher price because of where it's positioned.
It's crazy what they go for out there. I mean, because there's only so many of them, and there's only so many of them. But I was losing my train of thought with the investment.
Train of thought derailed. It happens to me all the time.
Oh my gosh, all the time. But anyways, back to with doing the VRBO. Oh, I was going to say that even when the market crashed in 2008, I just started, doing lake homes then. It was the best. Everyone who had money then said, I'm not putting my money in the stock market. I'm getting out and putting them in something real. And I'm going to put something that I can enjoy and love. And since then, God forbid the way this crazy world's going right now, but not once, even in 2008, did lake properties depreciate. They've never depreciated. Maybe there had been some years, especially during COVID, where it didn't sell as many, but the values never went down. So as an investment, going back to the whole investment thing, they've always appreciated at a much higher rate than the normal residential.
And sure, it's unique. Location, right? Like that's what everybody wants to say and wants to do. And we are realtors, we're real estate agents. We are not financial advisors, or we are not lawyers either. However, it's a unique property, it's a unique thing. And so it's always, real estate statistically has been the safest place to place your money for an investment. Of course, location, and there's a lot that goes into it, but so is when you purchase a stock with the stock market. There's a lot that goes into that. You got to research it. You just don't go pick and buy and say, this is what I want. You have to research it. But I would agree. I could see where your lakefront property is going to appreciate at a greater rate because there's not as many. Whereas if you take a house on the lakefront and say there's 100 houses around the lake, right? Now let's take let's take a subdivision. We probably have 200 houses in that subdivision. That's not on the lake. That's got regular streets. That's this and that. What sets you apart? Nothing, really.
Right, exactly.
Unless you're on a golf course. And you're like, no, we're not that house.
Something else I just thought of too, and that's one nice thing about going to lakefrontliving.com is one thing that kind of blew me away when I started traveling to visit and interview franchisees or partners now, like our Tennessee lake. Oh my gosh, the yachts that are on that lake on down there on Tellico Lake, 60-foot yachts. I mean, I can't have more than a 24-foot pontoon boat on mine. I'm going down there and these mega yachts, it blew me out of the water, and these lakes are so huge. It's just crazy. So, and the further south you go, the more season you have. So it's the more expensive it is, but it's the bigger lakes. And so it's just neat that it's out there, not just for, little Ohio lakes, but, the really big lakes all over. We're really getting that national feel for, okay, who wants what kind of lifestyle on what lake. It's neat to
You're right.
So
basically, when everybody goes to Palm Beach's, the Palm Beach International Boat Show, which is a boat and yacht show that is coming up, I think the 24th through the 27th in Palm Beach, they can go buy their yacht and then find their lake home from you, or vice versa, figure out where they're at. And then they can go when they're ordering their tiara or whatever they're ordering, or their cigarette, or whatever they decide they're doing, they can do that and then say, hey, this is what I need. Because I would have to suspect that your clients, your real estate agents would also know about, do you want to lift? Do you want to dry dock? Do you want to, be on the water? What kind of lift do you want to have? Do you want to have with the air tanks? Do you want to have mechanical? Like, there's all these different nuances. And again, if you haven't lived it and done it and experienced it, you have no idea.
You're exactly right. Yep. You're hitting it on the head.
It sells itself, that's for sure. So once everybody goes and visits the boat show and they put in their order for their Sunseeker, they can find the perfect home from you.
I'm so ready to get the boat. Scott got a new trampoline last year. I have fun. And then we went and visited our Missouri partner and last fall, and they have a mega yacht. I'm just like, then I'm back on my 21-foot. I'm like, can I just at least get it detailed? Can we? I'm ready for a new boat. But I just built my husband a bourbon cigar barn. So that was my boat money. So I'm like, I gave up the boat for the bourbon cigar barn, but he's happy.
So then maybe he's gonna then maybe he should then, pay back the favor.
Yeah, right. Sorry, that's totally off the subject.
Not really. It's again, this is what it's about. We have a conversation. It's an engaging conversation, and it's real life. And
it's a Lakefront cigar barn.
I tell you what's his favorite cigar?
Oh, it's Monte Cristo #2.
Ooh. A Monte Cristo. I wasn't sure if it's going to be a Monte Cristo or a Mecanudo. One of the two was probably going to be my
Monte Cristo #2. Yeah, him and my dad are out there once a week, and then when the weather's nice, fishing, cigars, bourbon, and they're just in heaven. So I'm not selling out. I'm retiring in Ohio. I just shot myself in the foot when I did that build.
You are. We're going to have to make sure. Being in the Chicagoland area, we'll have to make sure you're in Ohio. You're not far away, and I'm always up for a road trip. So once this weather breaks, we're going to have to somehow meet forces.
Yep.
or I don't know, maybe we'll go visit one of the ones in Tennessee. And we can find us a yacht and do it from
There you
there.
go.
So we will we'll have to put out some feelers now. That's for sure. See what we can arrange, because you can tell me all about the lake that we're on
Absolutely.
or what we're doing, and I'm sure where to go and what's good in the area. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so glad to have you. Stick around. We're going to wrap up here real quick. But, so anybody who's looking for a lakefront property, a lakefront home, be sure to check these guys out, because they know their stuff. They've done their research. They go time and time again, and their agents are top notch. They live the life that they are selling. They're not just selling to you, something that they don't know. They are living this. It's like they're living the American dream. I'm Jennifer Williams. I'm your host of podcast LUXE Life. We can also be heard on Wisdom Social Audio, where you're going to hear a little clip. We're going to talk about this a little bit on Wisdom as well. We are heard worldwide. Check us out on Spotify. We are on Stitcher, Apple Music, everywhere. Google me, Jennifer Williams Chicago, and you'll still find my podcast there as well, just in case you missed all of that. Jennifer Williams, Coldwell Banker Gold Coast, 708-710-9266. And if you have any questions or you want to know how to connect with Chris or learn more information, give us a call. Send me a text. We'll make sure to get you hooked up. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Chris, for being on, and stick around.